What could be better with a nice cup of tea than a homemade digestive biscuit? So today I'm going to show you how to make these little monkeys nice and simple. So to make these digestive biscuits, we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. Starting with our 225 grams of flour, we'll get all our dry ingredients mixed together in a bowl. So we start off with our salt, 1/4 teaspoon, then 1/2 teaspoon of bicarb, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and lastly your 50 grams of brown sugar. Get that all worked in now with your fingers. Once your dry ingredients are all mixed together, what you're going to want to do then is to add your butter. Get that all made up as if you're making a pastry, okay? So we get that into a breadcrumb sort of consistency. So 75 grams of salted butter. So this should take you around about 5 minutes or so to get this into a nice sort of breadcrumb consistency. And what we're aiming for out of this mixture is probably about 18 to 20 biscuits. So a pretty good quantity. Okay, so with your hands all washed, get yourself a spoon. We're going to start off by combining our 30 millilitres of milk and our 30 millilitres of golden syrup, which we put into a jug earlier. So we'll get them mixed up, get that combined. So there we are. Let's get our golden syrup and milk mixture straight in, and our rapeseed oil on top of that. So using a fork, we're going to get that all mixed together and combined, and then we're going to form it with our hands into a kind of a pastry, a nice dough. There we are. So as that becomes a sort of a loose dough, clean the fork, get your hands in and get that formed into your biscuit dough. And there it is, our digestive biscuit dough all made up. Should get about 18 biscuits out of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this into a container, and we're going to leave it there to rest for about 20 minutes. So with our biscuit dough all been resting for about 20 minutes or so, half an hour, what we're going to do is we're going to get it formed into biscuits. Now, I'm going to do this slightly differently probably to most recipes out there on YouTube, okay? Just probably because I like to be a bit different, but I found this is the best way to do it for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch 30 gram balls of this dough off. So we're going to into 30 grams, roll them off, and we're going to get them all set aside, and we're going to do each biscuit, flatten it out individually. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I found that it gives me a more consistent biscuit size, and this dough can be a bit brittle, so rolling it out sometimes and it'll break up and everything. I just found that this way was the better way. So what we're going to do is we're going to get 30-gram balls pinched off and get them all set aside, ready to form them into our biscuits. And so there we are, with those 30-gram balls all rolled out now. We've got 15 there, but we're going to have trimmings left over from when we cut them out, and those trimmings are going to make up the rest of the balls, which gives about 18. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to take each one of our 30-gram biscuit balls, and we are going to put them onto a floured surface, flatten them out with the palm of our hand or a flat floured bowl of some sort, squash them down, and we're going to cut them out using a 2.5-inch pastry cutter. There we are. So once your biscuit has been cut out, get yourself a spike of some sort. I'm using a temperature probe. You can use a cocktail stick or anything you want really. You can even use a fork, but I'm going to put a specific pattern now of holes right through my biscuit. So once you've got all your first layer of biscuits on a tray, what you're going to need to do is to cook them, and you've got to cook them pretty precisely, okay? Now I've got a fan oven. I'm going to cook these on 150 degrees for 17 minutes. 150 degrees, 17 minutes. Not a minute longer, not a minute less, because these have got to be perfect, okay? They've got to be the right colour, and they've got to break and be like a biscuit. Okay, so let's get these little monkeys in the oven, 150, 17 minutes. So while we're preparing the rest of our biscuits, we're flattening them out with our hand and cutting them out. My alarm has just gone off, 17 minutes, and our first batch of biscuits are ready to come out.